Hey there, thanks for tuning in for the top 7 rock cuts of the week. Here's a look at the rocks that we're going to be checking out. We've got a lot of cool ones this week, some agates, some crystal, some interesting material for sure. Welcome back to all the current subscribers and thank you so much. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to see more cool videos like this one. All the rocks were collected by myself in northern Nevada. Make sure to let me know what your favorites are down in the comments and any other thoughts you might have, and let's go ahead and get to it. All right, let's check out this rock. So from the outside, you can see we've got two distinct materials going on. We've got a grayish blue waxy material, and then we have a white material, which we're coming up on now, that looks like it's a little bit of a different texture, not the waxiness like the grayish blue that we see. So I was curious as to how this would look on the inside, and that is really pretty and unique. Wow. So the white is just a solid white there. There's a little black inclusion in part of it on one half, but pretty much just solid white. And then the gray blue is a really pretty blue chalcedony. Let's take a closer look at the individual halves, and we can see that there is some color variation going on in the blue-gray section. There's some white in there. There's a little bit of faint banding as well. Very pretty. Here's a look at the other half. I'm not sure what the white is. It looks like porcelain. Maybe it's common opal, but it is not translucent at all, whereas the blue-gray part is. Haven't found one like this before. So let's check out this rock. So from the outside, you can see that we've got a nice deep reddish orange, and there's some translucency. It looks like it's been polished, but it has not. I don't find too many solid nodules like this, so I was excited, especially with the nice red and orange color. So let's take a look at the inside. And that is really nice. So we have beautiful color variation going on between the very deep reds all the way to white towards the center. And just a really pretty material. Let's zoom in a little bit here. So this is a Carnelian agate, which is basically just any agate material that is mostly red. At least that's my understanding of it. This piece is completely translucent and really pretty. When we get a little bit of a closer look here, we can see how much color variation there actually is. From the outside, it looked like it was really mostly red, but there's orange and white and a bit of banding going on here too. A really pretty one. This half fractured, you can see the little chip that's out of it there. Okay, let's check out this rock. So from the outside, you can see we've got a light exterior going on with a bit of pattern showing through. It looks a bit chaotic on this side. There's browns and deep reds, a little bit of yellow as well, but mostly it's white. And there's a little bit more pattern that we can see on this side. And look at that. What a gorgeous Wonderstone. Wow. So we have beautiful flow banding and swirls going on in pinks and yellows. There's even a little bit of light blue in the background there. And then a really cool layer of breccia going across the top of the rock. Really interesting. Let's take a closer look at the individual halves here. So these patterns would have formed in rhyolitic ash as it flowed and compacted, and then later it was replaced by silica and then stained the reddish colors by iron oxide. Just really pretty. There's a nice kind of eye formation going on in the lower left, and then the crust is just really interesting on this one. Okay, let's check out this rock. So this is a piece off of a much larger rock that I found on my claim, and I wanted to check out how the patterns carried through to the inside. You can see there's some interesting coloration and contrast going on the exterior of the rock. So let's see if that continues to the inside. And that pattern does carry through and looks really nice on the inside. So the dark color is a brownish purple, And then the background color, or most of the rock actually, is a lighter tan color. There's a lot of black veins or fractures going on in the rock as well. It's a pretty interesting piece. It's really solid. I think that it will polish up well, and I have a lot of other material with similar patterns on it. Really cool. Let's take a look at the other half. Yeah, I really like the way that the purple color streaks in there. Really pretty. I'll put some of the other pieces in the tumbler and we'll see how they turn out, but this is really nice. Okay, let's check out this rock. From the outside, we can see there's some yellow iron staining going on. The bottom part of the rock there looks like it's a crystal material or an agate material. It's got a bit of a waxy luster to it. The top part also looks like it's a crystal material as well. And then we have kind of the yellow, brown, reddish, iron stained sections throughout. So let's take a look at the inside, and that is gorgeous. So this has almost fortification style banding there with the nice red band that's separating the top part of the rock from the bottom. And we have a really nice variation on the agate material and chalcedony colors here, from just totally clear to a lavender white and kind of purpley. Really gorgeous. The top part is interspersed with yellow staining, probably from limonite, but really interesting with the bottom part being so solid and the top having a bit more pitting going on, but definitely a cool one. Okay, so let's check out this rock. So from the outside, you can see that we've got a light color underneath and then a darker brown or red as well. And I think the darker colors are a desert patina, and the white color that we can see breaking through here is the actual color of the rock. And it's a little hard to see, but it's spider-webbed on the outside with lots of fractures and veins. So let's see how the inside of this looks, and that is really cool. Those veins and fractures carry through to the inside, and they are all filled in with what looks like a crystal material. The rest of the rock is a light white colored or tan colored material. There's a little bit of iron staining in there as well, but for the most part, it's fairly consistent. This is a really unique one and a really pretty one. I've not found one that looks like this before, and not totally sure what the white material is. Okay, let's check out this rock. So from the outside, you can see we've got some heavier colors going on. We've got a very dark red, and then that's kind of gone to a light pink in a few spots. There's a bit of white material here, maybe some caliche on that part of the rock. Other parts are so dark red that they're almost black. And it's a little bit hard to see, but there's some crystallization going on through that dark, almost black section on the middle of the rock. Really interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look at the inside. And that is pretty cool, although I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on camera because it's really dark. Although there's actually quite a bit of variation in contrast, especially on the upper part of the rock, and some really cool banding and eyes going on. Let's take a closer look at the individual halves. We can see some of that pattern a little bit better as we zoom in, and some of the crystallization as well carries through the center and didn't fill in those voids completely. You can see the banding a little bit better at the top of this one, and that is actually pretty cool. I think this will polish up well, just a little bit more subtle than the others. All right, that wraps up the top 7 rocks for this week. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you again to all the current subscribers. And if you're new to the channel and you've made it this far, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this one. And I will see you all next time.